everyone. Here is the reading for Activity 3, Roller Coaster Energy. And this is the activity part where it says, it's a thrill, roller coaster energy. Matteo. Welcome to the Student Science Hour. Today we have brought together a panel of experts who will help us explore the science behind roller coasters. What is responsible for the thrilling ride on a roller coaster? Energy. Panelists, please introduce yourselves and describe your backgrounds. Dr. Lowe. Hello, my name is Sarah Lowe. I am a physics professor at State University. Specifically, I study how energy transforms from one type of energy to another. Ms. Jackson. My name is Nikki Jackson. I am in charge of the amusement park. One of my responsibilities is to make sure that guests are safe while they are having a good time. I use my science and business background to help decide what types of roller coasters we should have in the park. Mr. Lee. I am Raymond Lee, Yasmin's uncle. I am an engineer at the amusement park. My expertise is in the classic wooden roller coasters that are still in use and need to be maintained. Matteo. I'm glad that you could all take the time to join us today. Now let's talk about park rides. Ms. Jackson, I understand that some riders worry that roller coasters are dangerous. I mean, hanging hundreds of feet in the air couldn't possibly be safe, right? Ms. Jackson. Although roller coasters are designed to frighten passengers, they are statistically the safest ride in the park, not to mention one of the most popular. A person has a 1 in 1.5 billion chance of being killed on a roller coaster. To put that another way, there is a higher chance of death from children's wagons, chewing gum, golf, and folding lawn chairs. Mr. Lee. The safety of the riders is a very serious matter for roller coaster designers and engineers. Safety features are built into every aspect of the roller coaster. Roller coasters are built much stronger than they need to be. We also duplicate or have 2 of each safety feature in case one fails. The majority of incidents at amusement parks result from unsafe behavior by guests or operators rather than the park's equipment. Although it rarely happens, people have died on roller coasters due to a heart ailment they didn't know they had. Ms. Jackson. Every day, safety experts go over every centimeter of track and examine each portion for wear and tear or for anything that could indicate a problem. Matteo. Dr. Lowe, could you describe the energy transformations that are involved in a roller coaster? Dr. Lowe. The cars are hooked together to form the train and pulled up the first hill, known as the lift hill, or by a cable or chain. The energy that runs in the cable comes from the energy sources such as electricity. That electricity is transformed into the motion that pulls the train and the passengers up the lift hill. As the train travels up the lift hill, it gains gravitational potential energy. The higher it goes and the more massive the train and the people in it, the more gravitational potential energy it will have at the top of the hill. Mr. Lee, I'd like to add that once the train reaches the peak of the first hill, the train is disengaged from the cable, and no more energy is added to the train system until it reaches the end of the ride. Tall coasters give more exciting rides because they start with more gravitational potential energy. Dr. Lowe, it's true that when a park compares roller coaster designs, the lift hill height is an important consideration. Matteo, but the energy must be involved after the first peak. Dr. Lowe, oh yes, the energy is transformed throughout the ride. The gravitational potential energy of the train and passengers at the top of the hill is transformed into kinetic energy as the train rolls down the first hill. Matteo, then the train climbs the next hill. Mr. Lee says that energy is not added to the train, so how does it get up the next hill? It's a picture of the roller coaster. This is the tallest roller coaster in the world. It's 139 meters tall and can go as fast as 128 miles per hour. To answer Matteo's question of how does it get up the next hill, Dr. Lowe, the kinetic energy at the bottom of the hill sends the train up the next hill. As it climbs the hill, the kinetic energy of the train is transformed back into gravitational potential energy. At the top of the next hill, most of the energy has been transformed into gravitational potential energy, and the process starts over again. Coasters are a result of continuous energy transformations between gravitational potential energy and kinetic energy. Matteo, I've noticed that on roller coasters, the first hill is taller than all the others. Why is that? Mr. Lee, that's a good observation, Matteo. In fact, each hill the train travels up is smaller than the previous one. That is because some of the energy the train started with is transformed into other types of energy besides the train's kinetic energy and gravitational potential energy. Some of the transformed energy heats up the wheels in the track. This is called thermal energy. Some of the energy is transformed into the sound of the train riding on the tracks. Mateo, I get it. If the next hill is too high, the train won't make it to the top because it has lost some energy. Dr. Lowe, well, yes, but to be accurate, the energy isn't lost. It is still there, but it is no longer kinetic or gravitational potential energy. It has been transformed into other types of energy, such as thermal or sound during the ride. Mr. Lee, a properly designed roller coaster has enough energy to complete the entire course without additional outside energy, despite those other energy transformations. At the end of the ride, brakes bring the train to a complete stop, and it is pulled back to the station by a cable. Mateo, I have one last question for each of you. What is your favorite kind of roller coaster ride? Mr. Lee, I like wooden roller coasters. Although corkscrews and loops are much more difficult to build in wooden coasters, the wooden roller coasters give a rougher ride and, I think, a greater sensation of being airborne. There's a lot of debate about which is better, wooden or steel roller coasters, but I definitely think the wooden ones have more character and provide the best ride. Miss Jackson, our park has an inverted roller coaster where the train runs under the track rather than on top of it. That type is my favorite because your legs are exposed instead of your arms, which makes it feel really scary. Dr. Lowe, I like roller coasters that are tall. By tall, I mean a tall lift hill. There is one that is even over 120 meters tall, which is about 400 feet. All that energy means that it reaches 57 meters per second or 128 miles per hour at the bottom of the first hill. It is a short ride, just 2 hills, but it is very thrilling. Mateo. Unfortunately, we have run out of time for our story on the Student Science Hour. Thank you all for joining us today. So that was the reading for Activity 3, Roller Coaster Energy.